All right, so I'm just gonna go down the list here. I'm actually gonna share my trading view screen. All right, so first stock on the list here on our spreadsheet is, of course, ONDS, which has a current buy level at 875 and a sell level at 20. I am pretty happy with that right now. Just looking at the chart, though, I think $9 is a very, very good level of support that I think we could hit. 875 is kind of that like true bottom that we've seen, bounce off of on any kind of extreme sell-offs in the past or like the last 3 to 6 months. So that's definitely the more greedy level. I think I will actually adjust the spreadsheet to list on this as a buy at 9, and I still do like 20 as a key level for selling just because of those warrants. You love when I say TA. Hey, Mike, do you want to hop on? I could invite you if you want to come on and chat. We're just going over all the stocks on the watch list and just looking at our buy and sell levels for these. Something that I update usually like once a week, maybe once for 2 weeks as we just kind of start posting them live. But yeah, I think thought it'd be good just to look at everything and kind of get our feet grounded with all the movement here to the upside and the downside today. Can't say no. All right, where are you? If you want to hop on, you can. I'll send you an invite. If not, no pressure. But always love to have your discourse on things for sure. All right, so yeah, ONDS, we're gonna update that to 9, and of course, we've hit all time highs at around like this like 1550 level. Last offering occurred with an average price of 1625, I believe, maybe 1650. So we still need to break that level and then move to 20. Of course, Eric clearing out a decent amount of shares this week, plus all of the macro catalysts today with the jobs report sent the market spiraling down. Though looking at the chart, looking at the chart, on like Nasdaq or Ondas, things like that, it's still very bullish. I mean, we're seeing the higher lows and higher highs in this recent, and I think we are going to catch a bid here. So that's why I'm raising that by 25 cents.
Thank you for having me. I snuck in, by the way.
Oh my god, are you in the car right now?
I'm not. I'm walking outside. I'm going to be inside in a minute.
Okay,
If I'm loud, I can mute myself.
it's a little loud. It's a little loud.
Right. I will be back in 1 minute then, but I'll stay on here.
All right, perfect. 1 minute. I spilled my coffee. Give me 1 sec, guys. Let me grab a towel. 1 sec. All right, I'm back. Let me get this. Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying with ONDS here, we're getting a series of higher highs and higher lows recently. Expecting a bounce. If we do hit that 9 level, I think we will get a strong bounce. So yeah, that's why we're upping that to 9 and then keeping it at 20. Moving on to the next one. If you guys are on the spreadsheet, the Gemfo watch list one, and I'll link it in chat in case you guys aren't. Because this is a paid stream right now, so that is the sheet that we're using right now, and it
I'm
has.
indoors.
Oh, you're indoors.
Okay.
Let me know when you get like to your computer because it's super robotic right now.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Okay. So where were we at here? We were on Lightpath. All right. So Lightpath, another one of our core holdings. We did just sell some cash secured puts on this one. Very bullish on Lightpath long term. And I actually love the position of our cash secured puts. Those have a break even, I believe, in like the mid 13s. And I do think we are going to catch a bid off this current ask here. We are sitting at like a triple bottom, which sometimes could be bearish, but I do think this is kind of a recent support level here around $15 mark. And even if, it does keep going down, we get assigned 200 shares of LightPath at like 1350. That's fine with me. That true bottom is around 1080 right now. And I'm just fine holding those, through some downturn and then just selling those covered calls at around like 1850, 19 pretty aggressively, maybe at the money, near the money, and then, catching a pretty nice sack of premium with that. So, yeah, LightPath. Let's see. What do we have on the sheet here for LightPath? So, our buy target's at 1080, sells at 21. I do like that. I think 1080 is just the safe level, right? So if that's a level that you just don't want to chase anything, you don't want to see much of any drawdown. Of course, anything can happen, but just looking at the chart, that 1080 has been a very, very strong true bottom over the last 3 to 5 months. So I am going to keep that at 1080 for now, as like my fantastic high conviction buy, but I do think that there is something to say about selling cash secured puts, or like buying some shares, around this 15 mark. So maybe I'll add something to the spreadsheet. Actually, let me I'll add something to the notes. So we can do that. I wish I could stream both screens at the same time, but you'll be able to see the updates to the spreadsheet when they come in here.
Hmm.
75 is true bottom. Update the Ondas note. Light path. Solid support at 15 with 1080 being our great value. All right. I heard you come back on, Mike, I think.
Yeah, but you don't need. I don't even need to talk. I'm gonna sit here and learn how to take notes and stuff for my people because I need to do this.
Yeah, this was just something I thought we added, just because it's something that with how many stocks we're watching, it was just important that we had a place to kind of consolidate everything and have like a true home for what my targets are for buy and sells, because it can kind of get spread out through all these different channels and different platforms like Substack, Discord, things like that. So we just created this sheet to kind of have everything in one place, and I'll stream the sheet at the end again, just so we can view all the notes. But those are going live in right now, so if you see those, okay. So yeah, light path. Let's get a horizontal ray here just to show this is our current support off this bounce at around 15. I'm doing this on my laptop. I still need to get a camera for my actual trading setup, so that I won't be on this small screen with the roles. Because right now I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
well,
goodness.
it's the one thing I haven't loved about Substack, though. Like I like the live and how it works, but how it's like it's always in portrait mode, and most people do watch it on their phone, yes, but sharing screen is always kind of weird with that, right? It's
Yeah, I think Substack has some great elements and some poor elements, which is why I felt like having the Discord was necessary. Just because Discord does some great stuff, but then Substack has a lot of good features, and I actually noticed now they're allowing us to do some potential like marketing and stuff. Like Substack bestsellers can now have not run ads per se, but you could have someone on to market something. So if if TradingView wants to come up and give us a sponsorship, we'll do that. And it's like Discord doesn't do that, so that's pretty
or
cool.
if like you wanted me to come take off my shirt on yours, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
could
Yeah.
pay me for.
If you want to pay me for that, I'll figure out some way to sell that. Yeah, yeah, I know. Eventually, once you guys go big time with Trainer Daddy, don't forget about me if you want to run some ads. I do love your guys'
Oh,
content.
please, it's you've been critical to it, but yeah, let's not.
Been critical. Oh, I think I've been critical of it. Oh no,
Oh,
no.
to the success of it, man. I mean, just having users of it because one of those. I love develop. I like trading as much as developing. For better or worse, I like them both. They don't always pay the same though. Sometimes
Mhm.
one pays much better. Sometimes the other not so much. But yeah, it's been nice while I was developing to have somebody actually trading and using it and the feedback. Because I was not getting a whole lot of time to do that part. So and the successes and stuff like that too. So it was awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, especially
But
when
either
we're
way,
in
this has
different
been fun.
markets.
It was nice to get back into trading a little bit this week. I kind of took some time off, and then sorry I interrupted you.
Oh no, no, you're good. I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna be doing like one of the Substack events is gonna be like a Trader Daddy Tuesday. So I think Art and I are gonna be doing some streaming and some like order flow there because now that we're not just in this crazy bull run, right? And we still are, but we saw a very very large unusual like pullback here, which was expected, but just the sheer depth of the pullback.
Yeah, the magnitude of it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I like Trader Day though for actually see you probably have seen some order flow in there for like large like put positions opening, and based just on like the jobs data and stuff because some insiders knew about that, and then I like because you can play both sides. I thought it was funny though because I feel like a lot of the people in there just are like perma bulls, but you can use it for puts and whatnot too. Like that's the other half. It's 50.
For sure. Yeah, and I definitely do. Or or just like going along something that is really short right now, like retail. Because
Yeah, no,
I had
definitely.
CVS calls, and VIX is kind of what kept me afloat today. But like I had CVS calls, and I had kept a couple of them, and yeah, they did great today. So yeah, gotta go. Doing different sectors, I feel like is always really important.
Yeah, and
Especially right now. I forgot what I was gonna say. When
I was just gonna say with
I guess you could have seen how big today was going to be just because stocks like Walmart, that usually only go 1 or 2% in a day. Like in the last week, after their earnings, yes, they fell 10%, which has been kind of this earnings story. You either go up 20 or down 10, but
Mhm.
it was what they did afterwards. Like on the green days, they were still going up 3-4%, and Walmart's not supposed to do that. So the
Yeah.
way that the ATR really has been kind of a red flag to me that it's big swings, get out, take some profit.
Yeah, I was gonna like, and I know I agree. That's why we last week, at least in our community, we on these huge runs did cover our shares. Took profit on shares and just kind of went into cash because I mean, like UMAC is the best example, right? This thing went 60% in one day on a stock that's I think it was maybe like 800 million at the time, but like that is just obviously not normal, and you can expect to retain levels that high. And I think right now is just a great example of like a potential head and shoulders forming just on a lower time frame. So you can see this shoulder, this head, and now another shoulder, and then a potential fall off. And this is the whole reason we didn't FOMO back into UMAC. Even when we saw this huge move and then it came back down and then it popped back up and it really looked like extremely bullish. Right now, we can kind of see that, we are getting a lower high now with that head and shoulder. And I do think that there's going to be further downside on this one. Uh, it does depend on what happens with like the Pentagon, right? So the whole reason it popped up was they essentially said they might, invest in these drone stocks like UMAC and then Performance Drone Works, which we know Performance Drone Works is private, but they are invested in by Ondas. Same with UMAC, so they're all kind of connected in that way. But there was no formal like agreement that they were going to do it, which is the exact reason why we didn't get back in, right? And seeing this, head and shoulders, I think that UMAC can fall quite a bit more. Maybe down to like this $20 to $21 level, which is the reason why we hadn't even like updated our buying it yet, just because we needed to see where it would go. I think before it was 14. Then I had to sell at 23. But because that overnight action, we upgraded that to 35, which I think it almost hit. And now I believe I have it in there as a 20. I do like 20. I think that could act as a new floor. But technically, nothing in the story changed that much when it was like 1480 a week ago to where it was almost 35. In my opinion, it was undervalued. Like not many people know about like the story of it or why it's so bullish over the next couple of years. So
Yeah.
I don't think I think this move in some ways now is priced in. I do think we're going to see a lower floor, but I just think right now, this new price discovery, we could trim like that full 40% from the highs and go back to 20. So
And
I
it's so important when you do a conviction to really have that price point in mind. I feel like to know what is, really fair and not overvalue your own stocks because so I had UMAC and I covered it at 15 and I was crying my ass off obviously when I was at 30,
Mhm.
and then crawling up from there. But did the math, and I read through some of your old stuff. I won't say I watched. I'm not very good going back and watching
Mhm.
stuff, but I read some of it and I decided like $20 is at least fair value-ish enough. And I didn't spend hours on it. But when it was $30, I knew it was getting called away. I bought a couple $20 puts. They were like $14 at the time.
Mhm.
Um, they did not make up for that missed profit or anything like that, but I did make 300% on them.
Nice.
That 300%, it's still only, yeah, $300 on the 14, but it's on $14. Who cares? Um, you know, I feel like whenever stuff is extended that much, people don't it's not that they don't short their stuff enough because, like, I tried to short Palantir for so long and I lost every time, so I can't even say that either, but,
Mhm.
there yeah, it was what, 60 it was almost 100% within a week, wasn't it? UMAC ran. I mean, it was a lot, but, to your back to your point, when you had a pretty good story about him being worth $20, and I believe in that too,
Mhm.
so it's not just about trading at that point. It's you buying puts because that's what I want to be able to buy them for or sell them for or whatever at that point. It's
Exactly. I mean, some of this, is TA, some of it is conviction through like a thesis, a lot of it's research. And that's the thing about trading that I think so cool. And what you might not know about me is I actually went to college for history. So I was doing a lot of like thesis work, paperwork, researching work. And then after college, I went into finance because that was available. And then like I found like my passion for trading after that. But yeah, I think that there is so many things that you have to combine to actually do this properly. And the great thing about investing too is you could just buy an index fund, right? You could buy S&P, you could buy Nasdaq. You just sit on that, and you're going to do well. But if you really want to get to the next level, man, is like the ceiling high of what you can do, and it's so easy to make a mistake that can just take your gains right out of the water, right? Like with me with
yeah,
ONDL, I had that, 40K to 300K run in like 10 months. And then I got out and I was good. And I was like, I actually pretty much called the top on this. And then like 2 weeks later, it started going up and up and up and more. And then the FOMO, the euphoria got me. And I, FOMOed into ONDL too quickly. And I'm still holding those bags like to this day. So you got to really, be careful with like these small caps. And they can go super high and they can also go super low. So that's why like having a sheet like this is so important in my opinion, because the buy and sells are so far apart. They're like 100% apart, 200% apart. So and that's because of how much they can swing. So it's really
yep.
important to be patient and grab that value.
And I'll still say like Tron yesterday was, I talked to him was talking about he's never been had luck selling options and stuff, but for me it's always been important in the education. Like even if I end up getting called away too early or whatever, I learn how options work, and
Mhm.
for me it has helped to reduce some of that FOMO a whole lot. When you have not just because of learning them, I guess, but, like, if you already have some covered calls, like, you know when to buy them because these one you're not getting premiums on these ones and stuff, so I feel like that's really important too, to help with that FOMO, and unfortunately, that just takes experience, right? And I did know that about you actually, that you went into finance, and I feel like your background actually in history, it made you patient in a weird way that you're gonna be unnaturally good in a way a lot of people aren't. Because to be a history major, you are naturally patient, I feel like. Like, I mean, you had to have been to get through that damn major.
Yeah, and it's just got see the full picture
Seriously,
of it.
I've sat through those classes, man. It is
Yeah, no, I always had like a passion for that, and then we attribute it to like when I was first starting on After I writing the DDs. And it's crazy because I just downloaded the app because I was curious about some stocks going up in the small cap region. I was like, wonder what people are saying on this app, and then now I do this as my job a year later. That's pretty crazy.
hell yeah.
I don't
Yep.
know what's going on. So
And I have been doing it for a little over a year now. A year later, it's that's still kind of surreal to me.
Yeah, no,
I've
it's
been a
very
professional trader for
rewarding.
almost 2 years now.
It's yeah, and it's it's got some highs. At the start, I feel like it had some really high highs and some really low lows, but now I feel like we've just become so much better at like hedging our positions, accounting for risk, being patient. That just taken a lot of stress out of the game, but also has helped us make some pretty crazy
Yeah,
gains.
accounting for risk, position sizing, port allocation. Yeah,
Mhm.
can't
Like, you know,
stress it enough. It's so hard for people to listen to me during bull runs, and to you, anybody, during bull runs. And that's I do tend to go quiet, during those times because what right do I have to tell somebody to play it safe when these are up 5,000% in a day?
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, you do have to you got to survive. You got to play it the next day. And now that it's awesome you're seeing it that way too, and it really does change when you're doing this for a living now as a professional. I mean, you don't have a fallback. You don't have your 9 to 5. You don't have this is your job. Yeah, and a
hmm
risk becomes everything. It's you
and
can't go
honestly,
to
the
zero.
job is
You
directly.
cannot afford to go to zero anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because no one's gonna want to follow you if you're unsuccessful in it, right? If you can't even
Oh, shit, yeah, not only do yeah, not only do you not have a job to fall back in, yeah, you're right. It's you are now a pillar of the community, so it's yep.
that also forces you to really look at everything objectively and be like, is this FOMO? Is this not? Is this actually a good level to buy? I think it actually just makes you a better investor slash trader too. Cause then you have to be like, okay, everything depends on me doing this, as correctly as I can with kind of looking at the full picture, not being like some kind of FOMO hype guy. It's unfortunate because like on Substack, you see a lot of these accounts that are just people like hyping things up and they also don't show any receipts and like people flock to it because they want, to make a quick dollar and then they realize fast, like it's not how this works. Maybe it does like 10% of the time, but like, man, it's a crazy game. Um, yeah, just
Yeah, I'm not good enough at the other side of that game to be fair. Like I probably hide too many of my green receipts, but I don't want to get people FOMO either, and show at the wrong time or
mhm.
yeah. And I think I don't even know if I shared privately with you. I know I shared them when I bought them last XLV when it was it the healthcare one.
Mhm.
It's XLV 153 calls. Somebody poured whatever. It was 10,000 calls at the 153 strike. I think it was 20 million into him last week.
I had
So I
XLV.
followed him. It was by far my best play this week. It made everything else sufferable. Because I made 100% and I put a good amount into those. I made 30% of my entire port this week.
Nice.
Before, no, I should say I had made 30% of my entire report as of Wednesday. No, I'm down another 15% as of then. But
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people freaking out today. I mean, you can see looking at the trading view screen, wow, like that is some red.
but even look
Mhm.
at where those prices were 3 weeks ago. We're right back to where we were 3 weeks ago.
Exactly. Like you
You don't
scroll up.
over leverage. You play risk. It's
Mhm. And
even
honestly,
on this. Even on this, it had a fucking flight to the moon in between now and then, and it's back to where it was 3 weeks ago. Stuff comes back to earth.
yeah, and I mean, just looking at Ampex right now, honestly, like it is looking like we're catching a bid here and bouncing off this previous support zone around like $19. So I still have my entry for this one at 1450 for my absolute, value swing. I think there is potentially some merit for a potential like CSP here or maybe even some leaps, but I would resist the urge to FOMO just in case because, we do have our higher high here from this week and then lower high and then boom. But I think it might catch a bid. So we'll have to see how it's, reacts off the support zone. But I actually might upgrade AMPX on the sheet here. I have it at $25. All time highs are at 24. I do think on this one we probably see 30 this year, which might be sound a little crazy to say, but I definitely think it's possible. So I'm going to upgrade that one to 30 for the absolute sell and take profit. I am going to leave the buy at 1450 and I'm going to put in the notes that we could see a bounce off of the $19 support. Potential support. reports. Man, I wish I could stream both screens. That'd be nice.
Man, I wish I had. I'm glad. I need to start doing these more. Just the second brain, man. Things you don't look at because, like, I have AMPX as a long term holding, but I have not been trading it at all. Because I was fortunate enough to have it at a good price.
It's very
So
volatile.
I didn't want to trade it, but just looking at the chart, even on the weekly, I like it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's the key.
like it did
Here.
take really nasty a couple weeks ago, but it's recovered nicely with volume. The volume has picked up to where it was, and it's about to,
Well, this
and it's
was
had higher highs on the weekly.
I believe it
Go ahead.
was right here. It fell really hard, and then we were screaming buy leaps, and then it went back up, came down a bit, then absolutely skyrocketed. So I think most people that just look for that base hit of 100%, which is pretty crazy to say 100% is a base hit, but usually that's what our target is. And I think most people who bought those leaps got out at 100%. Um, I guess they probably came back down today, but they went even higher when it went to 24. Yeah, AMPX do like going forward. I'm gonna raise that as our long term share target, but I still think we can be a little bit greedier on the buy side. Next one is probably my favorite new stock that we've been covering, which is oops, what did I just do there? Oh my goodness. I just accidentally almost printed something. Which is Copen. After going to the Copen Investors event and sitting in the room with those private equity guys and seeing what Michael Murray was talking about with the future, man, I mean, like with photonics and whatnot, like the sky is the limit here. Copen, as you guys can see, and as you know, over the last 3 months since the semiconductor rally started at sort of April, has absolutely exploded, right? So 181 all the way up towards 660 at the peak levels during earnings. Or that actually might have peaked out. Actually, I think that peaked out this week. And of course, like everything else today, fell down. I think 450, I believe is where I have it on the sheet as a very nice buy on this recent support. We did key some cash secured puts today, which give us a break even at 455, which is why I like using cash secured puts because we get paid now. And then essentially, if it does, break down there, we still get the price that we're looking for, even if it extends a little more and we have like a slight realized loss there. I don't mind just because of how much I like Copen and how much I do want to hold this long term. Based on what I'm hearing
So,
with
since you're doing this for your listeners, how did you have cash for cash secured puts today, sir?
oh yeah, I was holding all the
Because
cash.
there was only one way that I was able to make cash today for cash secured puts. I'm curious how you had it.
UMAC run up. We sold all of our leaps. I mean, some of the leaps on 285%. We had previous cash on hand. If I've learned one thing from the market last year is keep dry powder. I mean, remember I got back into ONDL way too quickly after I had pretty insane gains on ONDS, up about 260K in 10 months and off, from 40K. I just didn't wait long enough and I should have kept that dry powder. If I did that and I held it to when ONDS was like 9 before they went back to 14, I'd be close to like 1 million in that port right now. So cash is a position. Cash is a position. And it took me that mistake, I think, to really understand that. I've been
It
much
is
better.
one I still struggle with to this day. Like,
It's just the FOMO.
I mean, I am a part of mine is it's a personality thing. Like, I like to keep cash in motion, and it's part of my success too. So I'm not gonna feel bad when I don't always have enough cash. But it's like mine today was VIX, and it took all day for the VIX to finally climb. I don't know if you watch the VIX at all, but and it's the reason why I asked because I was just watching the whole market bleed and the VIX stay at 16. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do now? Yeah, like I was. It finally skyrocketed, and I finally was able to sell some calls, and I had cash then. So I don't care how people do it. Just find a way to do it. I'm not good at holding cash like that. I'm really not. I just find ways to, go short on some of the crazy things and I'll short it or, sell those at the other times. It just I forget sometimes that there are people listening, so I just got yelled at for that the other day. But it's one of those things that I have to remember. It's because I was talking to people today who did not have cash to deploy. And I'm like, stuff ran 30 Marvell ran 30% in one day this week. Like stuff ran crazy. How do you not have cash?
Yep.
And because they were buying on the way up,
They're
which
buying and then they're not, yeah, not selling and not covering. That's why it's so, that's why I was saying, even though these things are running hot, you got to cover these positions at least if you're not going to sell, just to hedge.
Hmm.
So inflated, so elevated. If you just sell that at the money, sure, your gains are capped, but you just made 60% gains on shares for like UMAX. So it's like, you've already won. You might as well
So,
sell.
and the secret reason why I really ask that for I just it's hard for me to ever buy leaps, unless I've been watching a stock for a while, that I haven't already sold options on or already hold a lot of shares in or something like that. But just to, like straight, but I do it. Like on CDS, I did it. I've never bought a CDS share in my life, but I played that this week. But it was just a trade. It was only that. But like these are your fund that you're talking about, right? Stuff that you're doing all year and you've committed to. Um, you need to listen to these words a little bit more. Uh, it's hard during FOMO times when it's super bullish because there's a lot of money to be made. But
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just, it's cash as a position, cover if your stuff runs super hot or sell, and just forget about it. Because I think maybe it'd be a good idea just to, take screenshots of days like today and remember like this kind of thing can happen. Because I think people are just full bull and they're like, oh, I'm never going to get in. It's never going to happen.
that's a
And then,
great idea.
so it's really just like having,
Journal today, even if you don't screenshot, like I know some people would be kind of bothered by that. Like journal how you feel today or something like that. Like just anything. But yeah, you're right. It's
no, I mean, I think that's a great idea. And, so the
I think
reason
you're
why,
a great idea though. So I'm
no,
done now.
no, you're good. I was gonna say the other reason I like Copen is because they're gonna start using light to transmit data instead of like copper for semiconductors. And if you know anything about copper right now, it's going up. Copper is a finite resource. Light is not necessarily that. It's also doesn't create such intense heat. So Copen, I think, is going to kind of come out here, and it's not going to make like copper, like semiconductors, irrelevant, or uh, what is the other thing used for semiconductors that I'm forgetting? It's
The one that alimony, antimony.
I was thinking fiber optic cables.
Oh,
This is just essentially a different way that they're going to be able to connect things and also connect different companies like GPUs in a data center rack. So Copen is going to be big. It's going to be big. It's already ran, and it makes sense that it's come down with like the semi rally because everything else semi related is going down too. And this just created, in my opinion, a fantastic opportunity for cash secured puts because we're going to get, a very nice premium. I think it was like 17% on a month and a half hold, which is quite good. And then also, if it does actually execute, we get an insanely good, in my opinion, cost average for what I think this thing is going to do over the next, 1 to 2 years. So I'm expecting big things from Copen. Once Ondas hits 20 and I kind of sell out of ONDL, I will probably be positioning a good amount of my cash into Copen going forward. So yeah, very excited on this one and hoping I can, exit ONDL, near my cost basis and then spread out more. So yeah, Copen's
yeah,
one
and I do love that you have the dollar in mind for on this, and you already know that, and I guess that's what I was trying to say before. When your stuff is overpriced too, and it's important to admit it.
Oh yeah.
And I was reminded, like I had been bringing that up for a point. Like Bitcoin obviously was doing horrible this week, and Galaxy is one of my favorite stocks. I think you know this, Galaxy Digital, but they were running opposite all of the cryptos, and there was no reason it should have been. Other than the fact that the financial sector kind of was, but they're not a bank. Like it's all crypto.
Mhm.
Um, so I shorted one of my favorite stocks, and I made, and it was decent too. So
Every
I
time
just
I've
had to
shorted
go
Ondas,
back
I've
to that
made money.
before. What's
That's
that?
why. So every time I've shorted Ondas, I've made money. So it's like I'm not scared to short it anymore because I just know the channels too well to where it's
When you know them, yep.
that if it, something, if I think it's
And
choppy,
there's been one or two times I could say that that has not been true, that I did not make money on my shorts, but it was when I was like, I made a lot on these longs already. I'm just gonna throw this money away just in case, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because the flip side, like days like today, like if days like today burned you, if you're broke, then you learn.
Yeah, if you're on
That
long,
that $5 doesn't hurt.
yeah, exactly. Actually,
And I will
same.
stop interrupting you after this. I did send you a chart on Discord for AMPX, and I only wanted this time because I've been looking at it this whole time that you mentioned it and really trying to phrase this out. I'm liking it more and more as a long term, especially while it's in the bottom half that I showed you. But I will let you talk after this. But I hadn't looked at this in real seriousness and since 2025. So
I will quickly. Let's see. I'm gonna share that. Let's see. So the crew is watching. Knows what we're looking at. Yeah, I mean AMPX. I like your chart settings here. I like that channel that you have written out there. Yeah, I think it could definitely touch that 19 level. That was recent support though, so we could just see a bounce. Yeah, that actually would. It looks like it is predicting a potential like $30 test, which would be like the ultimate take profit.
So, and that's why I wanted to really spend time on this too, because long-term price targets, I find when stocks are this nice on a chart, you can actually predict them.
Yeah.
You really can. And so, like $30, I was seeing, at earliest is actually today, but earliest,
It's not impossible. I mean, well, that's possible, but yeah, no, I think I like AMPX long term for sure. Something that
yeah. So sorry to take you off topic there. I will kind of, I'll let you go now. This is one of those things when I see a chart, I really, really like it. I'm not good at a whole lot, but like getting conviction on certain things, and charts are one of them. Yeah, this one is just it's solid all around. It's not been blown out volume, like a Marvell or UMAC has been. Crazy stuff
Mhm.
when it has ran, but it has still had a super nice runs. Found that line that I drew is that super nice support. I mean, it has not come close to falling below that. I mean, it came close, but it didn't.
I think AMPX has
Uh,
been for the best year to date performance for Gem Vault stuff. I mean, it's gone like a hundred at highs. I think it was near 200% year to date. So I mean, it's absolutely been just a fantastic stock and one that every time now when it dips, I definitely look for an entry just because
I'm grabbing some as we speak while we have another 2 hours.
yeah, that's one I love. SPAI too. I'm thinking I got it's gonna be like a 2-hour video unless I speed it up. SPAI is another one I'm looking at. I like 450 is what I have on the spreadsheet here. I think 488 was resistance that's gonna act and flip support. The one before SPAI, I believe that was I'm just going down like the list in the spreadsheet so you can just if you have that up and you can check. That last one before was Copen. So Copen is the like semiconductor micro display defense play that was invested in by Ondas and is one that's going to be working with like Palantir and Enduro probably in the future here for some other stuff. It's just a small cap going under the radar that is going to have some pretty substantial revenue sources in the future, based on what I understand. So, yeah, one I'm bullish on. SPAI, very, very, very small cap. I think it's got like a little bit over 100 million market cap right now. Margins are looking great though. They have customers in like the U.S. Army, so it's one I think long term is going to be great. There's also less dilution risk due to it being high margin software. So unless they need to do something very expansive and like facilities, which I don't think they would, but there's always that risk and that you should have in the back of your mind. But it's one that I think if you can get at a 450, that's it's going to run up to at least all time highs around 9, I believe. And I think it has a little more tank in the gas to like 12, which I have written out on the sheet.
Tank in the gas.
Tank in the gas or gas in the tank. Long day. It's been a long
Which is why I had to do it.
tank in the gas. Yeah, pretty much. That's what the name
I'm,
of that thing.
I'm chasing bunny rabbit or runny babbits.
Yeah. Oh man, it is. It's been a day. It's been a day, but it's been. I mean, I was gonna say it's been a good day. It's been a good day in terms of we got to deploy our cash. Market, anyone that was full long, I'm sure it was not a good day. My long investment port, like retirement stuff, not a fun day, but also I'm very far away from retirement. So
See, mine wasn't bad. I been pouring into Nvidia more and more. I started doing so I was putting profits. I've always been like my trading profits I put into investments. I've always been pretty good about that, but not necessarily always the best ones or like I've been boring and just putting it into ETFs where I am a good stock picker too. I realized like I did not have I guess stupid me, I don't zoom out enough, and I didn't realize like Nvidia is 8% of the market, and I was nowhere near 8% Nvidia in my portfolio. So I just started pouring it into it, and I have not regretted it lately. And that really started at 180 before the last earnings. So even would it fall back 2-3% today, I wasn't hurting too bad. So
yeah, I mean, AMD especially. Wow, that one was absolutely crazy. It was just advanced money destroyer, and then it turned into advanced money maker, and had just one of the craziest runs. Aside Micron,
yeah.
you had that
Yeah, what did
AMD.
that do today? Well, Ed Micron has been the reason why I've been able to afford everything. I dumped, well, and I got rid of too much of it, but I dumped 10% of my portfolio, my net worth into it in December. Now I did end up selling far too much of it at 500 in like March, but everything, just like last March, we were all scared, and I was too. So I sold too much of it, but whatever. I
Happens.
still have enough of it left that I am alive today. I didn't
I'm
realize AMD did have a rough day, didn't it?
everything. Everything unless it was a staple good. It had a rough day.
Hey,
LTRX.
my eBay was good.
What's up?
My eBay was good. My CVS was good.
Coca-Cola was good. Walmart was good. I mean, yeah, anything that's staple.
I had calls in retail, so
Oh,
I would,
nice.
yeah, and that's why I had to kind of. It has been a week for me to shut up. Like the last, a lot of people like to brag about that kind of stuff. I like to just go quiet because I don't want to make people feel bad. I had a good week. I didn't have a
Um,
good day today. I did not have a good day, but I had a
a good week's a brag too. I mean, I'd scream from the top. LTRX is looking interesting here. I do have the buy at 6, which I think it could hit. We do have, a decent trend line with some pretty strong volume and support at these 2 points. Obviously, this point's very weak. We just hit this low. We actually did crash through like this 678 figure. This is the one that's got very low volume, so it's much harder to read and actually use like TA as a confluence on this one. So I'm gonna keep $6 as our target for now, as we did recently dip into the fives and mid fives. So I don't think there's any reason we need to necessarily chase this one. But I think you could do some cash secured puts on this here, near $6, maybe even like a 550 break even, something like that, where it's at now, and then be pretty happy with Lantronix long term, just with how involved they are in like software, semis, drone space. It's one that I know a couple tech CEOs that I've spoken to like. So if they like it, they know more than me. There's probably a good reason. And it's like behind closed doors talk. So yeah, I'm excited for Lantronix as well. We're gonna keep that one, I believe, at a $6 buy, which is where it's at. Yeah, I think 14 is okay for the PT right now. Yeah, I think we'll put potential for CSPs around stock price equaling 650. So kind of right now, I actually don't mind CSPs there. Probably actually look into that Monday. SRFM, man, this is one that burned me. It was looking like we were going to see some retracement back up to the Palantir announcement highs. And then we've just been in like a battleground. I mean, we had some huge sell offs near like the new year and just been like a falling knife. It did look like we were potentially going to see, break a structure to the upside back in early May with some new highs after this consolidation downward. But yeah, it's just been difficult. We do have that nice support around $1. I think that is more of like a true bottom. But yeah, this is one that right now I am just bag holding with a, I think, price target still of like 550 is what I had it. But yeah, I mean, this chart is not what you want to see on the yearly. I mean, you have this huge push to the upside, massive buy side volume, burn bright and fast into just like a falling knife. It reminds me of like the AMD chart. But eventually, when everyone is bearish, we'll get a swap to bullish. I mean, I could see like a similar thing with like Humasite, where we saw that starting to rally and build off itself. So it's not something that I'm going to be selling here, just considering how strong the support's been around this $1 mark. But it's been one that's definitely been heavy on the bags. So
I mean, I just bought 100 shares. If it makes you feel better, because I kind of like it there.
yeah, I feel like right here, it's like you can't not like it here. It just is like
No, I mean, what I got to lose there. I mean, it's yeah, it's
when you got the lose. I mean, yeah, it's like a potential money market with some upside at one potentially. Who knows? Maybe it'll go
I
lower.
mean, with everything that has been lost today, was a few. I'm kidding, but
And
it's
to be honest, like today, I mean, it didn't lose too much considering how large the sell off was. Like,
no. So that's where I kind of, as a half joke, even yeah, I think even 10 minutes ago on here, but I posted earlier today about eBay. So I've always liked the Tower trade. The momentum pullback screener. I don't know if you spent any time on it on whatchamacallit, but I set it up so it's actually stacked to me as on the monthly, weekly, and daily. So it's got to have a pretty damn good trend to show up on there.
mhm.
And eBay hit it last week, and I just like I haven't used eBay in a long time, but I don't just certain stocks like that. It's but yeah, to your point, it didn't move during all of this crap. And that's one of the things I really look for is when everything else is going to shit. What besides like the retail, the safe stuff. Yes, this is retail too. Um, in a way, but what just really did stand its ground. These days are important. They're educational. I feel like to see, what did really hold up, because it shows you what may be more fair valued than some of the other stuff. So,
No, I completely agree with that. D Pro has been interesting. This one was, a long time ago. Not a long, I guess maybe like a year ago. It was burning bright and fast, kind of seeing some crazy on just like gains all the way up to like $20. I mean, this thing absolutely ran. And then another kind of falling knife. One I've been avoiding aside from like a swing off of like six. So I think on this one, I think I put the buy at like 450, which in my opinion, reviewing the chart is too low. I do think that there is a potential for this at $6, which was a decent support line previously. So I'm actually going to upgrade this one slightly to $6 for D Pro. And we did actually go past 10. So I think what I'll do is actually upgrade the price target on this one to 1150. I believe do we hit 1150 or do we go was it no, it was okay. Actually we're gonna go 11. My deep pro conviction, I think it's gonna trend up, melt down with like other drone stocks, but the conviction is like similar to Red Cat where we need a little bit more from them to actually believe in what's going on with the company. Because the company's only going to melt up so far with the sector. There has to be like certain conviction elements to really get it going. Roy was saying, what are you thinking about the POD calls? I'm holding those right now. I mean, those are good through like July 17th with, I believe, like a 16 strike, I think they're going to be fine. I don't think today is the day to panic. I think we're going to see some, nice drop like today, and I think we are going to keep going. There's nothing to show that we've reached like a true top yet. We did break like a 9 week consecutive win streak, which is obviously like that win streak's not really healthy for the market. We do need to see some pullbacks, and I think those are still fine. So yeah, not too worried about the poet calls. Not going to just paper hand out of those and buy high, sell low. So yeah, I'm still holding those, but of course, I will update those in like Trader Daddy if I do. But yeah, those aren't like a gem vault holding. So those are my Trader Daddy swing plays. Okay. So D Pro, I'm gonna update the note that I updated that. Oh, I put that's right. I put strong bottom at 100. Let's fix that to $1. D Pro has.
So I apologize. I went on mute. I am probably gonna have to let you go here. I've been getting a few calls and text messages, been trying to ignore it, but yeah, been
Oh, for what? Oh, you're in calls right now.
yeah. So I apologize. I do have to probably let you go.
Well, it's great
I
having
was
you on.
looking at yeah. So I was looking at poet. I was curious. Did you answer that poet question? I didn't get to hear your answer.
Oh, I just said, I mean, we had like a we had a 9 week consecutive win streak. We needed some consolidation. I don't think there's any reason to say that we won't, keep going up a bit higher. So I'm fine holding the poet calls, for now. I mean, there's like enough time on those, I think, for that to go back up to 16 or beyond with like a July 17th or July 10th or 17th expiration. But yeah, what information do you have on those? Love to hear it.
Oh yeah, I was just kind of looking at the chart. I had read it while I was on there, and I can still multitask on a chart. I was just kind of looking there. Yeah, I mean it's sitting right at the gap. It's on like a quadruple bottom. It's turning time. Yeah, it is. I mean, at least you'll know quickly. Poet is one of those ones that it lets you know whether you're wrong and right fast. So I was just kind of curious your take on it. So.
I'll pull it up. It's not something I have on the.
Oh, I
Chart.
think you had just talked about it. So I just missed
Oh,
this talk.
yeah.
I didn't catch it for
I
that.
was saying, or I mean, yeah, we have to hold this, like you said, yeah, quadruple bottom at like 1185. If it does break through that, I mean, next support's going to be down at like 7. So within unless previous resistance held support at like 9.
So I'm
But
gonna
I
leave this up on my screen. I might get back to you on this. I'm kind of liking maybe some spread puts on this, just to cover your position, but also like you said, down to 7 might be something to look at. Like selling SDSP at 10, but buying some puts at the 7 level.
yeah, I mean the hedge that could be the case
But
for
I
sure.
think almost in this one, the IV is high enough. You can almost make money on the hedge if it does dump there. I haven't actually looked at that. I'm just my previous experience with this stock, but I'm gonna have to let you go. So I just want to kind of mention that before I've made as much hedging this as I have, protecting myself, and then also my puts were up as much as my position was down. Shit. So yeah, because the IV on this stock can do some awesome things.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you come up with, I'm definitely down to take a look at it. I'll
Okay. All right, I will
hedge.
leave this up
We
for
can
sure.
catch up. It's here in the Discord. Because yeah, I'd be curious. Maybe I'll grab a hedge. Yeah, poet. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if it respects this support line from
Yeah,
recent run up,
it's a
and
critical one. Yeah, it's a nice line for sure.
yeah, it could be head and shoulders. We'll have to see.
All right. Well, good luck with the rest of this, and you have a good weekend. I'm sure I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I think we got something scheduled Sunday with Art. So yeah, I'm gonna probably kind of go through these pretty quick. But yeah, I will talk to you then. Thanks, Mike.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Of course. Anytime, man. See you later.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing so we're doing takeoff now. I believe takeoff is traded OTC, so we have FLT. I've been buying the ticker takeoff. I believe that's at like 47 right now. 47 cents a share, which I do really like. I like that under 50. Takeoff, you'll see, is like one of my highest conviction plays. I think is the highest conviction play in terms of risk to reward. So obviously here I have the buy, at 0.45. I believe it was at 0.47 today, and the sell all the way at 4. So that is quite, the return if that comes to fruition. And the reason is just the Canadian drone defense budget, as well as a couple catalysts with some pretty big defense people going up to their Maribel facility to kind of tour it, see what's going on, and then some little companies they're acquiring on the side. So it kind of does remind me of like a mini Ondas. Obviously, the price target's not as high, but that's still a crazy, pretty much 10x on my theory for that one. So not quite 10. I think it's 8. But yeah, I think FLT slash takeoff, which is Volatus Aerospace, is one that is going to surprise people when it does take off. And I think it's very undervalued for what it's trading at right now. So yeah, definitely watch out for Volatus. And if you can get a position right now, it's pretty cheap, and it's definitely one that I think is going to kind of surprise people. So yeah, takeoff is a good one. Next one, CEG, which is my nuclear play, nuclear energy play. This one is going to be really, really big, I think, in the next year or two. Right now, it has been falling off, but obviously, we know that energy, data centers need energy. Nuclear is a good way to produce that cleanly, and they are one of the biggest providers of that. So CEG is one that we're going to have to be patient with. I believe I have my buy target on them at 250, which I do. We are at 254, so pretty much right there. I do like this level here at like 246. Yeah, what was that? 246, 247 as a potential buy. And I think I had my exits like around 400, right? Yeah, 400. So that's just another like high conviction swing on a rare large cap that we play with, just because of how important that energy is going to be. And energy is not going anywhere. So clean energy, nuclear energy is going to be very, very, very key to AI in the future. And we know the AI trend isn't going anywhere, and it's just going to need more and more power. So CEG, very bullish on. I'm going to enter that in the spreadsheet here. All right, knock. I believe that is Nokia, and that was one that someone in the Discord requested. So this one has been on a parabolic run, I think, ever since I believe NVIDIA invested in it. With a gosh dang it, I don't know why I keep writing stuff on the chart. With a nasty sell-off like most other things today. Um, I do have our buy target on this one all the way down at 11, and the sell at 20, which I do still like. 11 level is right here, kind of before the run. I think potentially, you could do 12 as that was, the last key bounce. I think I will update that, but I still like 20 for the sell. I mean, it's still overbought. I don't think you want to chase this one now. I think there's going to be a little bit more blood considering it just fell through this 1450 level. It's one that I think we can wait on, but I am going to update the buy on that to $12 for knock. And for anyone that just joined, we're just going down the list of the spreadsheet right now in order. So we covered a good amount of stocks, and we still have a good amount to go here. Next with AAOI. And I think most of these are going to be ones requested by subscribers, with a few space ones in there that I added. So AAOI. This is another one that kind of went on a parabolic run. I believe also one that NVIDIA invested in. Chart looks pretty healthy on the 6-month, though recently it does look like we potentially capped out with a new lower high here. This is one that we do need to watch. I don't want to chase this one, but this does look like a very nice level around like 135. And we have our buy on that at 140, which does make sense with the sell target of 250. So yeah, right now where this one is at, it's just a little bit too risky for me in terms of the reward we're actually getting. So I really do think this one needs to come down. Uh, let's actually lower our entry a little bit for this one, right around, yeah, 132. I like 132 for AAOI. I just, with the chart, we didn't get a new high. Looks like we did reject off this recent high too, which makes me think that we have room to go lower, even after the sell off. So this is one that I don't think we should chase right now. I still like 250 as our target, but I'm actually going to lower our buy down to 132 for AAOI. Yeah, Archer, I mean, it was one that I was trying to get out of our leaps, Ronin, for I think it was like a 63-cent bid. It didn't fill, and then it just fell over again. Archer, and we can look at that one too. I'm not happy with how far they are with their I was gonna say FCC, with their stuff with the FAA. So they're getting their certifications, but they don't really have like much to that they've shown that's like proven to work, and they have huge deadlines coming up with like the Olympics and whatnot. And I really thought there would be a little bit better guidance at the earnings. And the fact that they just were kind of like, it's going to be ready then, wait and see, and then didn't give us any hard receipts just makes me not want to touch them. I agree. Like the 550 level is good. And if your time horizon is long, like till like 2030, I think it's, still a good buy. But it's just like, I think there's other plays that are going to just provide you a lot more momentum in the short term. And if it's something that, you're bank holding long term, I think it's, going to be a good investment. But eVTOL is not really going to be a thing till after 2030, probably, like a really big, business that's producing revenue. So it's just something that I think there's going to be like a sunken cost fallacy, and it's just going to take a while to actually move where we want to move to get that value. 2028 leaps, could definitely work. It's just like I think in Jumbo right now they're like $15 leaps for 2027, and I just don't see that unless there's some like blowout guidance and everything's on track. And but based on the most recent earnings call, I just don't believe that, which is why I'm fading them. But yeah, I mean, the leaps could come back up. I mean, 550 is kind of hard to fade, like you're saying. So, a dollar cost average could get those out of the woodwork for you. But man, the fact that we went up to like 7 and couldn't even get back, near 10, and this used to be pretty consistent between like 10, 11, and like $15, and now we're just struggling to even get to half of that is just, I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love it. So I'm fading Archer at this point. We'll keep the leaps till we probably hit that limit and then try to get out. Just take that loss on the chin and keep going. All right, DDD, another one that did run up after it being in a very rough patch, and then I believe that there was a dilution event which caused it to fall back down. So DDD is one that could be an absolute blowout pick in the future. We know that they have a denture 3D printing thing they're working on that has ridiculous margins in terms of how much it costs to make one and how much they can actually sell it to the healthcare providers. So if they actually can scale that, I mean, this stock could go absolutely crazy. But it's just one that I want to actually see confirmations of that before I'm ready to jump back in. And just like the constant dilution on any kind of meaningful climb is just not something that I want to see with this one. So DDD, we do have that at a 275 buy and a 7 sell, which I do think is fair for the stock. I think there is a case on this one to wait till $2 to be safe. We have it kind of marked out here at this previous bottom before the last big run, right around 275. I think with DDD though, we do want to go a little bit more risk off for now. So I actually am going to lower our buy on DDD I think down to $2 because if we do see more dilution, I think it's just gonna long term kind of hurt it. And I think that we need to be getting some very good value on DDD to actually make it worth it. I know right now I think we're predicting like a 220% return if we actually do hit the upper limit of the sell target. But it's just one that we need to actually see some very strong earnings, see some good margin from their products, and then see, an uptrend that doesn't get instantly diluted. And I think it could drop a little bit further. But 3 month chart's not too bad. We are oversold like everything else today. So we'll see. But I think we've been successful by waiting for great opportunities instead of like chasing things that might not be bottomed out. So I think that's just a better way to play. And it's just something where, one of these maybe does hit our lower target, and we can go heavy into that. And we shouldn't just chase things that, might not be done falling or things that have ran really hot. We should just get back into them. So I think that's one that we can wait on as it's more speculative. Put a note in there for that one. I'm going to say, oh, don't know why. Say $2 targets due to dilution on the run ups. All right, BBAI. This was another one requested by the community here. One that's been very polarizing. I know it was like super trendy a while ago. It had some nice run ups, and then it went all the way down to $3 and then came back up. BBAI on our sheet, we do have that as a buy at $3 with a sell at 9. So 200% return on that if it does come to fruition, which I still think is fair. I mean, this is going to be like your max value. It does look like a respected bottom. We did get a very, very nice uptrend off that bottom. It actually does still look like, it is trending up, but like everything else today, huge sell off. I think it's bullish, but I think it's one that we just don't need to chase based on things I've been hearing on the back end of them. So I still like, if we can get it at 3, potential hold all the way up to 9, which was like some previous highs all the way up here. But it's another one like DDD that is, I feel like, speculative. It's in AI, it's trendy, but it's one that we can wait on for that bottom. There's probably, a case to picking up like some leaps at 3 as it does look like a true bottom as opposed to just shares to get some extra leverage there. And I think you could also, write some CSPs around like $4 or 350 as well and be pretty well off with a nice average there and break even. So I'll put that in the notes as one that I think you could get, a little cute with some options if it does get low. But if you're doing shares, 3, if you can get that filled around like 310, I think you're going to be sitting really nice on BBAI. So I'm going to say potential for CSPs and or leap purchases around, let's say, 350 to $4. All right. Another requested one from the community was KRKNF, Kraken Robotics, which I know a lot of people are bullish on. They're Canadian ones. Well, let's see. Ryan said BBAI is by far my all-time largest profiting ticker. This thing, when buzzing, is made to swing. Yeah, I mean that's what the chart does look like. So if you really can call those bottoms, I mean that one looks fantastic to swing, which is why when I was just looking at it, I was like, you could probably do some pretty nice things within that $3 to $4 range without having to wait for a full bottom, and then potentially benefiting nice on some out of the money leaps or CSP premium. I'm sure is pretty good too with that volatility. All right, Kraken Robotics. So this is one that has performed. Wow, this one looks really nice. Over the last, what was that, 1 year chart? Yeah, I think it was like a 1 year chart, or maybe longer than that. Though looking at this one on a 3 month basis, does look a bit like a falling knife, which I think I posted about in here. Yeah, I had my buy on this all the way down at $4 and exit at 10. I think there is a reason to maybe have a higher target on this one, but it does look like this did kind of form a head and shoulders pattern where we had shoulder, head, shoulder, and then a further fall off. Uh, $4, I think, is probably a little bit too conservative on this. I think it's probably fine to, I mean, there's decent support previously at the $7.20 level. I think 650 or 6 is probably your best bet just to be safe. Um, 550 maybe. I'm definitely gonna upgrade this one from 4. I think that's a little bit too conservative, especially where like the robotics market is going. We'll give Kraken an upgrade to 650 on the buy, and the sell. We'll have to see. I think 10 as well might be a bit low for like where robotics is going. I know a lot of people are bullish on this company, so I'm actually down to make some changes to Kraken. We're actually gonna upgrade both. So we're gonna upgrade the buy to 650, and we're gonna upgrade the sell. We had like all-time highs at 1072, I believe. So let's go tentatively at 14 for now. Um, that one, I'm gonna put that in the notes that we're still gonna be in price discovery for the highs of how it can go, but like trend is on this one side for sure going forward. All right. RDW. This one has made me a good amount of money in the last couple weeks, actually playing both the buy and sell side. So I did buy some calls. I think they were $15 calls when it was like 14. That absolutely exploded, which was fantastic. And also I bought some puts near the top, which also played well. Obviously with the SpaceX stuff, space has been very trendy over the last month. We've seen huge run-ups across the sector. I think space, though, as a whole, is overbought. I do like RDW as just a longer hold that we could buy. I do have them listed at a 14 for a buy and a 30 for a sell, which I honestly still kind of like that, to be honest. Um, I think it could go higher than 30, but 14 still looks like just a fantastic level. I mean, that's where we saw this, accumulation phase, and then it kind of coiled before this massive breakout. So it's one I think you can wait on. I wouldn't chase the space sector. I think there's going to be a lot of crap going on like in the next week with the SpaceX IPO. It's going to shake the market. We don't necessarily know how yet. I think it's going to be very, very turbulent. So in my opinion, better safe than sorry. I would rather, wait for anything space oriented for, a key support level and then a bounce. So yeah, I'm going to keep RDW where it's at and just mark in there that space is volatile and we can wait. Wait for good entry at 14. All right, SATL. This was one that also trended up, but didn't go up as far as some of its other peers and also came back down very hard. So yeah, this one, like the other space companies, nice rally. I actually didn't realize we went up to 12. I thought it was 10. So this one actually had a very nice move like the other ones. I do like this bounce here and potential support zone at the $7 level. It does look like it fell through there a bit, but then respected it with some decent buy side volume after it was quite oversold. I have SATL at a $6 buy and a 12.50 sell, which I do think is pretty smart. Just looking at the chart here, 650 is like the strong bounce. There's, I think this one you could warrant some cash secured puts, right now, because that'll give you a nice break even around like 650 or 6 with some decent premium as well due to the implied volatility. So, yeah, I'm gonna put that in the notes, and then some, potential out of the money leaps near like a $12 or $15 strike. I think this one's actually looking pretty good and set up for maybe a nice reversal after this, huge move down to correction. So I'm gonna put something in there about leaps. Leaps and CSPs looking pretty good near the $7 level. All right, one of my favorites right now is Robinhood. So we have a couple hood leaps in the gem vault. It is one that I'm very bullish on that came down super heavy from above, the 150s, and with the pattern day trading rules going away, with how accessible it is to new traders, and trading being trendy, and then with like their prediction markets, there's just a lot of sources of revenue and a lot of tailwinds for Hood. And in the last couple months here, it hadn't moved up as far as like a lot of like semiconductors did and things like that. Obviously, fintech was lagging, but I still like it here. I guess the only thing concerning would be today would be that we didn't get respect on like that $80 level completely, but we did bounce up pretty high towards the end. So Hood is one that I love our leaps. I actually wouldn't mind picking up another one, and still just very bullish on this company and think that we could probably hold those leaps past 100 if we do, get a little bit greedy. So 150 is my sell, which does still make sense to me. I think that it's going to go higher, probably hit like 200. It's going to break the all time highs. When we're not sure yet. 70 for the buy. I do think it's 70 for the buy is safe. It's very safe. I guess more like 73 would probably be, the actual level just based on support. 70 is like the low. So that'd be like the extreme value. But I still got to say, I do like it at 80 for a buy right now. Like, I think 80 would be okay too. What I'll do is I'm just going to upgrade it to 73. I really think you could buy like Hood right now and you'd be pretty happy long term. Hunting that 100% return just on shares. And then if you're buying like leaps, I think it's pretty hard to go wrong on it just based on what they're doing with the platform, its popularity. We're going to upgrade Hood to 73. I I almost want to put 80, but the key with this is us not chasing anything. We really should be resisting the urge to FOMO and really looking for that extreme value. So I think the extreme value on that's going to be 73. So I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to put a note in here that leaps and CSPs do look good near 80 as well. All right, ASTS, another one that I do like for space that is going to be pretty big. This one, did push up quite nicely with the space trend, and then there was issues with like that Blue Origin rocket explosion because that's going to be like a delivery service for them. And then, of course, today, like everything else, pretty strong fall off. This is one though that I think is another one long term you can't be too sad about holding. I think it's going to do very well. We do have a 70 target for this and a 125 sell. So I actually did hit our sell target at 125, which was pretty funny. Just from this absolute parabolic run. I think 70 is still a good buy level. Will it go that low? Depending on what happens with the SpaceX IPO, it's possible. Like any of these space ones, I do think that they are highly volatile and that we should be careful. So I actually am going to keep that 70 level that's shown in the spreadsheet for ASTS. I really do think this is one that could break out quite a bit above the highs if you are, have a long enough time horizon to hold it. So yeah, we hit like our 133, which I believe was an all-time high. Yes, it was. And chart looks bullish long term. So I think we really actually can upgrade this one to 150 as well. So we'll keep the buy there for extreme value, and we're going to actually upgrade that one like Hood to 150. I believe Rocket Lab also hit our upper sell band here too. Yes, it did pretty much perfectly. We had that one down at, I believe, it's 150 as well, which we did, and that one tapped in surgically. Another great chart. I mean, the SpaceX stuff, like I said, has kind of re-rated the entire sector. SpaceX obviously is ridiculously overvalued in terms of technical analysis, with their financials not warranting like a 1.5 or $2 trillion valuation, whatever it was. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'd much rather own something like Rocket Lab. We have come down, decently from those highs. I do have our buy target at $100, which is a key psychological level and is one that I think is pretty solid. There's also, this massive gap that could potentially be filled, bringing us all the way down to like 75. So I'm going to put a note there about that being like our conservative level. But I think 100 is one that is probably going to see some nice resistance and support to the upside. So I'm going to keep $100 as our buy for Rocket Lab. I'm going to upgrade our sell to 175 if you do get it at the 100, because I do think Rocket Lab is going to be, very, very good to hold over the next couple of years with the space re-rate and how we're kind of moving there, and revenue is going to be climbing. But I'm going to put a note that if you're extremely defensive, look for 75 as a nice entry off of support. All right. And now we have one that I looked at, I think once. This one I hadn't heard of, HGRAF. So someone wanted this one added from the community. Hydrograph clean power. So energy, obviously, we like energy as a sector. Um, Clean power. So I'm assuming this might be like nuclear. Um, Chart looks fantastic. I gotta say, this thing absolutely exploded from. I'm reading that right. 20 cents, 23 cents. When was that? Back in last summer, all the way up to over 11.54. Okay, that's an absolutely insane run. Whoever pulled the bottom on that, they're very rich right now. Oh wow. Okay, 3 month chart though, definitely looking like a bit of a falling knife with a. Oh yeah, I can see why there was a triple top here, another rejection off that, and then a sell off. But honestly, I mean, this does look pretty nice at the bottoms if you can grab it around like 580. We listed a buy for this one at 450, sell at 950. I think we can actually change that. I think we're gonna go. Let's go 585 for our buy. I mean, I think you could maybe even justify six. And then I mean the all-time highs for sure for a potential sell target. So, we're gonna be with this one just based on the chart. We're gonna go six instead of like 580, just to keep that a little bit rounder. And that was a previous level touched a couple times. And then we're gonna actually upgrade the sell to 11. So not quite the all-time highs, but a nice swing nonetheless if we do get that one. All right, we're down to the last stock here. So that is going to be Oklo. Oklo is what I played in the past. It was one that ran up way too high originally based on, their technicals and things like that, all the way up to 193. And I believe we actually did short that. This was before the Substack was even created, just because of how ridiculous the valuation was. And ever since then, it's been just a complete falling knife downward. So with Oklo, yeah, went all the way down to like 45. We have a buy on that one at 55 with a sell at 110, which I think is pretty fair. I mean, once we called that, yeah, okay. So we did call this one at 55. That one went all the way up back to 75, which was a decent swing. Coming back down though. Um, Oklo is one where we know nuclear is going to be big, but they do still have some stuff to prove. I think with this one, we can actually afford, but there's so many other plays, the ones like CEG that I have more conviction in. I think we can wait on Oklo. And I actually am going to bring this one down to 45, just as that looks to be a true bottom and one where you really can get a potential, 2x on your money. So I think it's one that we can, decide to fade a little bit longer. So we're going to go Oklo 45, and I think the 110 sell target's still fair. This might just be one that's a little bit longer hold. But yeah, this is what 121. We had 110 right around here. Yeah, I think that is fair for Oklo. Potentially, if we do catch a bottom here, this could be a higher low, and this could just continue trending up. I don't think that's impossible. 55 is not the worst. So I'll post in there that there is some potential out of the money leaps for Oklo. It's Oklo downgraded entry to 45, but leaps and CSPs look decent when the stock is near 55. All right. So we are all done with all 23 stocks with the updated price targets. If anyone's got questions or wants to look at anything, we can do that now. And then if not, we'll classes out of session and send everyone off to go enjoy their weekend after the crazy action that was today. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. If anyone's got questions or just got stuff they want to look at, for the stock I like, maybe we'll add it to the list, but, if not, then we're going to hold off for now. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds here to ask questions. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I'm still drinking coffee. I'm a little crazy. It's gonna be a late night. We're still running out all the stuff for the mentorship program. So got a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a work weekend. That's what it is when you're self-employed entrepreneur. It feels like you're always working, doing something. It's fun. I enjoy it. I'm gonna give it 30 more seconds. And if I don't see anything, then I will call the stream and talk to you guys later. What do I think about Meta at current levels? So I haven't looked at Meta, but what I've heard is that hedge funds are buying quite a bit of it because it was, lagging quite a bit compared to other Mag 7s during the rally. 591, that does look pretty solid. I think they have like a very nice. Were they? Do they have the lowest P&E like ratio in the Mag 7 in terms of just like price to earnings? I felt like I saw that somewhere where they didn't look ridiculously overvalued and they just had, crap ton of revenue coming in. Meta is one that I don't really play the Meg Caps Mag 7 as much. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm not, watching them unless something big is going on. They're like moving markets and they're affecting what I normally play in. But in terms of just looking at Meta, let's look at it, on the 1 year charts. Bit of a falling knife, kind of reminds you of like something like AMD. Obviously, very good value near like that 500 support level, but it's one that I think doesn't look like a bad buy right now. Definitely very expensive if you're playing it, but if you just have shares, you can't go wrong with Meta in my opinion. If you're doing leaps, I think you want to target those previous highs or like 10 to 20% below them, which I believe was what near like 800. Yeah, 800. Meta, I might wait for some sort of support to form on this knife, but it's just with today's price action, just everything dumping. It's hard to say. Is it going to go back down to 518? I really doubt it, unless there's a huge macro disconnect and we see like a huge like bearish divergence. But also something about how they are furthest in terms of physical AI tools, metaglass, and something else. Yeah, so I don't really know. I can't really say too much of what I heard during the Copen stuff with like meta glasses, but I do know they are working on technology to essentially, like, if you look at something, right? If you look at it and your eyes dilate in a certain way, like it means like you like it, and they're gonna use it for like marketing stuff to you. So instead of your phone talking, instead of like your phone listening in on you, um, it's gonna be able to detect your eye movement and then like try to sell you stuff based on what you looked at. It's very dystopian in my opinion. It's very kind of like this is getting to a crazy level of technology. I know that they are trying to make meta glasses more of a thing. I believe they're working to like change the margin and make them much cheaper for the average Joe. Right now, like they're like what $900. Like I would never buy them, but if they got down to 100, maybe I would buy them to make some content, right? And then once they're mass produced and there's a ton of money in it for like AdSense and things, they're going to be big. So Meta's one that I definitely would not be fading. And right now, with you being able to get it at a discount, I do like it. Yeah, so Meta I think is solid. Three levels of physician AI hardware is what I'm seeing. Supposedly they're the farthest along in the space. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's with any of the Mag 7, like Microsoft obviously needs to come back a bit. There was like a huge overblown fear with like AI replacing software as like a service. Meta just hasn't done the same as the other ones. I think Tesla could come down more. We'll have to really see if they can prove, what they're doing with robotics. But I think in terms of like undervalued, Meta, Microsoft looks solid here. Hey Choco, thank you. I appreciate you being so active in all the chats, and showing like your stuff in the Discord and whatnot. I really do want to foster, like a more active community, and you're definitely supporting that. So I really appreciate that a lot. All right, guys. I think I will call it there. I'll probably be chatting to you on Substack and Discord tonight. But yeah, hope you guys all have a great weekend. and we will be ready for Monday. So we got those CSPs. We got about 45% cash. There might be some stuff going on where we're buying back some CSPs to get in leaps if there's a really good deal. I think we have a potential to bag quite a bit of money if we can time the bottoms on some of our favorite stocks we talked about here. So yeah, very, very, very excited for next week and playing this volatility with you guys. And I'm very, proud of everyone being more conservative with our cash, having a cash pile, and then being able to deploy it now, and not just having everything long and then FOMOing at the top. So I think we did really good and we'll continue to do so. So have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you guys later.